On November 2nd, 2010, Tom Cruise found himself outside the tallest building in the world with an IMAX camera looking over his shoulder, capturing every moment. On October 31st, 2014, he found himself holding on to the outside of an Airbus A400M with a 35mm film camera locked inside a Gyron Super G, capturing every moment. Regardless of what he does next, I think now it is official. He is the man without fear. Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. In my opinion, it is the highest achievement in this franchise. The story follows Ethan Hunt and a team of his close friends as they take on their biggest challenge yet, the Syndicate. It's an international rogue organization that's as skilled as they are, and are committed to destroying the IMF. Desperate times lead to desperate measures, and Ethan must lead his friends down a path that has them taking risk after risk, or else they will cease to exist. Rogue Nation marks the 5th film in this franchise, and the first one to be written and directed by the same person, and while this only marks Christopher McQuarrie's 3rd film, it's obvious through this one that when given the chance, he can create magic. But that's not really all that surprising because Tom Cruise has proven in the past to have impeccable talent for choosing what filmmakers helm these monster projects, because especially with Mission Impossible, these films, it's not really a job so much as a lifestyle. These films require such intense pre-production and safety planning, but when it pays off, it's worth it. For me, I loved a lot of things about this movie. I loved the camaraderie between the actors. I loved how every action scene felt like a carefully designed labor of love. I loved the tender quality of the dialogue, and I loved the energy behind every shot. Ever since I watched Nightcrawler, Robert Elswith has been on my radar, and now, thanks to this movie, he is now officially one of my favorite directors of photography. And especially now, after seeing this film, I think he would DP the crap out of the next Bond film, because his style just rings so true for espionage films. Of course, with every filmmaker, they have imbued their own style into these films, but when you consider the stories, the characters, and the locations, you begin to see which style really fits the world. Because ultimately, while we all have our own personal preference, certain genres demand certain styles. With action, it's movement. A fixed camera will always have a place when appropriate, but action only works when there's energy and emotion. And for me, one of the ways I can tell if an action scene works is if I emotionally connect with it, if I feel it internally. If there's a good build-up, I become scared for what happens next. And for each action scene in this film, I felt that. My favorite scene is when Ethan goes into the water chamber. It's smartly shot with choice cutting, and for the first time, we see Ethan in genuine danger, afraid he will die. It adds a layer of emotion and physical realism that no other mission film thus far has provided. Where I think the film could have improved is the realism and the lead villain. It's not the casting or even the dialogue, but this eye twitch that he has. I don't know if that's a direction that McQuarrie gave or if that's something that Sean Harris invented, but personally, I found it to be pretty silly. As for the realism, there are several times when the bad guys are shooting point blank at the good guys, and they are missing. We all know Ethan Hunt can take a beating, but I don't think he's bulletproof. My overall impression leads me to conclude that more of these movies is actually a good thing. I know McQuarrie will not be directing number 6, but whoever does get chosen, I do not doubt they will be qualified. I give Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation 4.5 out of 5 stars. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Have an awesome day.